And then after 50, or let us say after the second stage of your life, you have entered from 50 onwards into the Banpras stage of life. It is called Banpras because Ban means the forest. Long ago, what they used to do, the kings, they will give up everything to the children. And they will enter into Banpras. They will go and they will seclude themselves in the forest lands where no one will disturb them. And they will become a bit detached from this world, breathe little by little. Remembering they are still the guide of the home and the family. They will continue guiding the children along the way. And from the moment they reach 75 onwards, what will happen? They will go into total sannyas, forgetting about all the house and the wealth and the money and all kind of things, physical and material. And they will only dwell in the spiritual manas and begin to chant the name of God for the rest of their lives. In this world that we live in now, it is highly impossible to do that. What do we do when we reach such an age? When we have crossed the age of 50, 60, going into 70, 75. We cannot go in the forest lands. We have so many criminals today. We leave ourselves and our children exposed. So we begin to find ourselves reading of the scriptures. We begin to find ourselves in satsang, wherever that we can go and sit and listen to the glories of God with utmost attention, love and devotion. And we can, if you was just saying that, if you go to one satsang and you take one thing back home good. If you go to, how much satsang we could do for the year? Not so much satsang now, 365 days. But let us bring it down to 50 satsang. And we will learn 50 new things every year in our lives. Put it into practice in our lives and teach others to. Then, and only then, our purpose will be satisfied and fulfilled. Then our Bhagavan will be awakened in our hearts and become peace. We will attain all the happiness of this life as well as the when we give up this Manushri, we will attain the happiness of the hereafter. And what is the process? The process in living in this material world and physical world and attempting to awaken spirituality within us, it is written and enshrined in these holy texts. But it is up to each and every one of us to listen, read it and listen to practice its teachings. So you are entering into a time where you should engross yourself more spiritually now. You build a beautiful puja room here. And you must sit each and every day, perform your daily sandhya and your duty as a Hindu Sanatanist. And this goes for each and every one of us here. That we have a very pure place in our home where we sit and we do our devotion. And we uplift ourselves spiritually. Not simply merely by offering all the flowers and the incense and arati. But there comes a time in our lives that it is a process that we go through the medium of Abhyasa Yoga, as Bhagavan Krishna states in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The religious aspect of our lives, the ritualist aspect of our lives. We use that aspect to uplift ourselves at a certain degree in our lives to spirituality. And there must come a time in our lives when we will begin to detach from these physical offerings and material offerings, and we will be able to visualize God in the murtis and the pictures and the different things that we see and come into contact with. And this is becoming more spiritual in our lives. So, he gives us a method in this Ramayana that you have requested to listen today of the power and the potency of the name of God and where it will lead us to. Let us hear, as Goswami Tulsidas says, after having paid obeisance, before commencing the narration of Ramayan Katha, to the Santa Samaj, those who are listening, eagerly awaiting to drink with the cup of their air the nectar-like beauty of the Katha for the name, the power and the potency of the name of God, at the banks of the Holy Ganga. He pays obeisance to the entire creation of God physically. 8,400,000 species of life, Chaurasi life. And then he commences his Katha. Let us say this Durga as he reads. Muni is relating to Bharadwaj Muni at Prayagraj in Balkan of Ramayan. Lord Shiva is relating to Devi Parvati. This said Ramayan Katha to Devi Parvati and Kailash Parvat. And Kakabhushindaji is relating to his Koti Garuji at Nilgiri Parvat, the Blue Mountain region of northern India. And they say, जिस प्रकार पानी और उसका अर्थ जल और जल की लहर देख के मात्र से दो है, किंतु वस्तु में दो नहीं, इस प्रकार सीता और राम एक ही है, दो शब्द अर्थ की तरह दो प्रीति होते हैं, उनके चरणों को नमस्कार है, जिनको दिन दुखी बहुत प्यारे हैं. Goswami Tulsidas is saying to us, as Lord Shiva says to Devi Parvati, he says, I adore. Firstly, he says, I adore. And I offer my respectful salutations to the lotus-like feet of Sita and Ram. Look at the great words that he chooses here. Firstly, he adores and worships the feet of the Lord. When we begin our journey in life, there is a process that we must begin. We lie on our beds. What is the first thing that we do? We step down on the ground with our feet, right? The feet are the lowest part of the body. And look at the great humility of Goswami Tulsidas here. In beginning his recitation, he bows to the feet of Sita and Ram. Bowing is a very important aspect of our lives as Hindus, as Sanatanis Hindus. When we bow with humility. The person who bows is very humble in nature. And the person who bows is even greater than the one who is bowed to. Such is the greatness of Sanatana Dharma that it teaches us humility firstly in our lives. When we are humble in nature, it is the greatest thing that will take us forward in life. Humility. Ego will not carry us anywhere. The only place ego will carry us is backward in life. And humility will take us forward. It is the driving force of our lives. And here Goswami Tulsidas is teaching us, firstly, that when we worship, we bow. When we look at Surya Narayan in the morning, we bow. When we look at the Purnima, we bow for Yamawas. And so too, we bow with humble supplication to the feet of the Murtis and the Mother and Father and the Gurus. If we cannot reach to touch the feet physically, we join our hands and we bow. We bow our heads. And whenever we bow, what must take place within our minds and our hearts is that we must be able to visualize the purpose of bowing. See? Some of us bow and we just bow with all kind of thoughts in our mind quickly because not even thinking about the purpose and reason for bowing. When we bow, it removes negative karmas. We are bowing to God within the different aspects, physical and material aspects that we are seeing in front of us. And this is why, when Baba tells you, bow at the Murti feet, what are we bowing to? Not the Murtis. We are bowing to the aspect of God within that Murti. We are bowing to the aspect of Bhagwan, Surya Narayan within the sun. We are not merely bowing to the sun, but we are bowing to divinity within the sun. This is why Goswami Tulsidas says, "See Ramamay Sarva Jagajan." I see God in everything that I bow to, and I join my hands again and bow again and again. This is why Goswami Tulsidas says, "Bando Guru Padakanj." Pad means the feet. He bows to the feet of God. And so to Hanuman Bhagwan, when he met with Bhagwan Sri Ram in the first lands, he bowed to the lotus-like feet of Bhagwan, and he kept describing the feet. So important is the bowing. I adore and worship. So when we bow to Bhagwan and we bow to our Gurus and our Mata or Pita, we say in our minds, we bow, we do adore and offer our humble and respectful salutations to the feet of whoever we are bowing. This is the importance of our life. You can go on and on with this, But sometimes we have to teach our Hindu brothers and sisters that when we bow, the purpose and reason for bowing. Sometimes we bow once and we're done with that bit. Sometimes we touch up here and we bow and we're done with that. We're even thinking why we bow. We're bowing just because we have to bow. But when we teach the lessons to our brothers and sisters, then we will do it with more how or more attitude in our lives. And the correct attitude, so the blessings will come to us. So bowing is not merely just bowing. And we see where the Western world now is bowing. Everyone is bowing and touching the Pope feet now. And in all different faiths of this world we see bowing takes place. So we as Hindu Sanatanis do not be ashamed to bow. But when we bow, we must bow 3 times. We are supplicating the physical, the material, and the spiritual aspect of our lives to God. And we are praying to God and asking Him to remove the physical, the material, and the spiritual afflictions of our lives. The diseases of this body and mind and soul. So, when we bow to the Ramayan, we touch and bow 3 times. When we bow to the Murtis of God, we bow 3 times. When we bow at the beautiful full moon and the sun, and whatever that we are bowing to Mata or Pita, we bow to them with humble supplication, taking the form of Sita or Ram in our hearts. And you know what he says here? He says, I do offer and adore. Firstly, he adores the feet of God. Then he offers his respectful salutations to the feet of Sita and Ram. And you know what he says to us? They who are the refuge of the distressed and a storehouse of kripa or grace, a storehouse of compassion. So when we bow to God, what are we receiving? We are receiving the refuge of the Lord. He shelters us from the difficulties of this life. And He extends His grace, His compassion to us. And that is what we want, the grace of God, the kripa of God in this life, to take us forward. So He's saying, they who are Sita and Ram, He didn't say just Ram, He says, Sita or Ram eka hi hai. They who are one as a word and its meaning. Just like we will say, Vishal, you will call your father Daddy. Somebody else will call, one of your sisters will call him Dad. One of them will call him Father. But they all mean the same thing. So too, he draws an example. Just as you will go to the seashore and you will see the water of the sea in a distant way. And then you will see the waves being formed. He says, they are no different. They are called the waves and it is called the water. Though they are distinguished by different names, Sita, S-I-T-A, S-D-W-T-A, and R-A-A-M, Ram. Though they are distinguished by different names, they are yet the same. See? Sita and Ram. So when you put our hands together, we don't just leave out one of them and say Jai Ram. We Jai Shri Ram. Or we say, oh Jai Sita Ram. So we do not leave out the feminine aspect of God, which is Durga Shakti. See? We always include the Shakti of God together with Bhagwan in Shakti. So we join our hands and we say Sita Ram. When we say Sita Ram, we mustn't just say Sita Ram like that, but we must be able to feel the presence of Sita Ram within our hearts. And then when we say Sita Ram, then we will be able to see the presence of God, just as Goswami Tulsidas is saying to us, see Ram nahi Sarjagadani. You see the presence of Sita Ram in the creation of God, in the other individual that you are meeting and meeting. And then he says here, he says, Jinko din dukhi bahut pyar hai. When we recite the name of God with love in our hearts, utmost faith and love, pyare, priya, anurag, bhakti, intense love and devotion, unconditional love for God, then it removes the greatest of all troubles of daily devotees. Bahut means plentiful. With love and devotion, it removes all the difficulties of our lives. So, he said, in pain, humble salutations and namaskar, charano ko, he bows again and again to the feet of Sita Ram. And then he says beautifully in this chaupai, Jaya Rama Sita Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Bando We are here for our purpose tonight. And we are here in satsang to remove whatever negative karmas that we have taken. And how can we do that? By listening to the Mohan of Kriya with love and faith and devotion in our heart. By the chanting of his name, Jam teaching the recitation of the Lord's name in mantra form for 108 times or more. So it gives us the opportunity here tonight by singing Jai Ram Shri Ram. We will take away all negativities of our lives and awaken the goal of the presence of God within this river of the Ganga. Jai Ram Sita Rama Jai Jai Vidhi Hari and then sometimes we say Jai Ram Shri Ram. Shri is Sita Mata. Shri is Lakshmi Mata. Shri is Durga, Saraswati, Kali Mata. So Shri is the feminine aspect of God. So if we don't even want to say Sita Ram, And we say Om Jai Shri Ram, that means Sita Ram. So we praise the names of Bhagavan, the masculine and feminine aspect. And we must do that in this age of Kali Yuga. Why? Because we have masculine and feminine in this world. So we recognize the females to be none other than a manifestation of Sita Mata. And we recognize the males to be none other than Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram. Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram means the most perfected being of this creation in the form of Sri Ram. So, Goswami Tulsidas tells us through the holy pages of this text that is called Ramayan. Ayan means the abode. Ram is God, manifested in the age of Treta Yuga. So we are in the presence of the home of God. Shri Ramachandra ji ke Ram naam bandana karta hu. He meditates firstly upon the physical aspect of God, masculine and feminine, in the first yoga. Then he comes in his chaupai and he says, I bow to the lotus-like feet of the name of Ram. See, the name of God he bows to Ram. What is the importance of the name of God in this age of Kali Yuga? Not only for Hindus, but for all faiths of this world. We all have one thing in common, that we all depend upon the name of God to make us happy here, to equip us with everything here in this life, as well as to take us back to our original abode, the ocean of Satchidananda, true consciousness and bliss. Why is that so? The Catholics, they will have a rosary. And they will take that rosary and they will chant 108 times or maybe more. What are they doing? They are doing jap. What is jap? Jap is the recitation of the Lord's name in mantra form for 108 times or more, not less. We as Hindus, we will take our mala and we will japi Om Jai Shri Ram, Om Jai Shri Ram, Om Maheshwar. That is jap. The recitation of the Lord's name in mantra form for 108 times or more. Why 108? Or why 54? Or why 27? Or why 9? They all adds up to 9. Why 1008? They all adds up to 9. And 9 is considered to be a universal number, a mystical number. So he tells us here, Shri Ramachandra ji ke Rama Nama Bandana Karte. He bows and he pays salutations to the name of Ram. And he sings praises to the name of Ram. So what is the importance of reciting and praising God through his name? It is through the name of God that the form will come. So when one recites the name, the form will come in his heart. Then he will be able to visualize Bhagavan. And when we live in the Brahmachari stage, the Grihasashram stage and the Bhavaka stage, we need to focus our thoughts on a form, to condition ourselves on a form of God, in order to know what the formless is like. So there are two aspects of God, of Brahman, as to say. When we say the mantra Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, my Guru is Brahma, the creator. My Guru is Lord Vishnu, is sustainer. My Guru is Lord Shiva, the annihilator, the reabsorber of the soul, or the destroyer of all negativities. Guru Sakshat, Param Brahman, Tasmai Shri Gurave. My Guru is the creator, the sustainer, the annihilator. And from the Param Atman or Brahman came the creator, the sustainer, and the annihilator. My humble salutations to God in the formless aspect, Nirgun aspect. There are two forms of God, the Nirgun and the Sagun. From Nirgun, upon the call of the devotee for the cause of the devotee, the Lord assumes a form. He embodies himself in the form of Rajara. See? Upon the call of the devotees. So if we were to, you see how Hanumanji, or how Marashabri, or how Sutikshanji, and all the devotees of Ramayana, they prayed to God, and the God came in that physical form to them, we also, in our lives, can attain that blessing. We are not equipped enough to focus on the Nirgun aspect of God. So that is why we have to worship the Murtis. And it is through the Murtis that the Nirgun form will come to us. But it is the opposite of the saints and sages. They have elevated themselves so highly in life that they can visualize God in the formless aspect, formless. And it is through the formless that He will come. As we saw in the Dandak forest land, He came in a physical form. But we cannot visualize that. It is totally the opposite with us. So we will focus on the Sagun Brahman, the embodied form. And through the embodied form, we will condition ourselves through these stages of life. So when we reach the Sanya stage now, then we will be able to visualize nothingness. That is the Nirguna state, the formless state of God. And this is what Mr. Ramayan is teaching us here tonight. It is said, he bows to the name of Bhagavan. It is to the name that the form comes. Yes. If Mohan want to call his son Videsh, he will say, Videsh. Yeah, that name Videsh will hear and he will come. He will present himself in the form here. Similarly, Rajkumar will come when you call him. And similarly, we will experience that in our homes and our lives. So it is through the name of God, God will come to us. So we continue doing our devotion in our lives. And our devotion is the underlying factor that will give us success in our lives. Some people do not pray. But prayer is an integral part of our lives. Whatever faith that we belong to, be it a Muslim, be it a Christian, be it a Catholic, be it a Presbyterian or a Hindu, have faith within your faith. And certainly the Lord will allow you this to happen. So he's saying here, the name is so important whether it manifests from. The name Ram, he says, Jo Krishanu Agni Bhanu Surya Ki Makar Chakrama Inke Hetu Hai. He says that name Ram was extracted. Ra came from Surya Narayana Ravi. Came from Agni, fire. And Ma came from Chandrama, the moon, the Purnima. And what does all these denote? They all denote brilliance, brilliance, effulgence and light. And what is light in Hindu Dharma? Not only Hindu Dharma, in all faiths of this world, light is universal. Even the Catholic parishioners, they will light a candle. They will exchange a light with each other at a certain time of the year. And they will light that candle in their homes and their churches all the time. So too, a light becomes important in Hindu Dharma too. It represents the Atman that is present in this body, that has left Paramatman and come into this body, becoming Jivatman. And so too, all faiths of this world will honor that light. That light symbolizes brilliance, radiance, effulgence. And it also symbolizes Jnana or Vijnana, knowledge and spiritual wisdom. And finally, it symbolizes God. In the Nirguna aspect, formless state of God, pure energy. So, the name Ram, Rama, came from these three main sources. And then we break it down further now and we come to the letters of the name Ram. This is why it is so important to put good and meaningful names for our children. Okay? How important it is. to put meaningful name for our children. Devi, Vishal, Rajkumarji, and all the nice names that we have. Mohan, and Tara, and we have Krishna and all. We have his Dharam. See, the names is important that we put for our children. That is what will enhance our lives as children in this way. When we put the meaningful names, it will bring goodness to our lives, sustenance to our lives, substance to our lives. So he's telling us here, the R of Ram came from the Rig Veda. The Vedas, they are the major scriptures of Hindu Dharma. So the first letter of Rig Veda was extracted for that name. A came from the second letter of the Sama Veda. Now R-A-M. R, we have the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda. The A came from the second letter of Yajur Veda. The M came from the third letter of the Sama Veda. And the final A of the name Ram, Ra-A-Ma, R-A-M-A, came from the fourth letter of the Atharva Veda. So it tells us in Hindu Dharma, the Lord breathed the breath of life, pranic energy into the Vedas. That is why it is considered to be the principal scriptures of Hinduism. His presence permeates the scripture. Ramayan, Veda, Purana, Ashtadasha, Chahu, Shastra, Sava, Grantha, and Chorus. It is the juice or the nectar or the amrit of the Vedas, the Puranas, the Upanishads, and all scriptures put together. It is the life, the pranic energy of the scriptures. Pranic means the life-giving force of the scriptures. So he's saying here, Vidhi Hari Hara Veda Prans. This name Ram is the creating aspect of Brahma. Vidhi, what is Hari? Lord Vishnu. It is the sustaining principle or the power of Lord Vishnu, and it is also Hara. What is Hara? Bhagwan Shankar, Lord Shiva. It is the reabsorbing aspect of Lord Shiva. So you see how important this name Ram is? Some people say Ram is not Ram. But that simple name, the older people long ago, they will always say the Jai Ram. Whenever they sit down and they get up, they will say Hey Ram. Then you will notice that. Why? They knew of the importance of the name of God. And in saying, reciting the name of God, whatever pains that they experience, don't worry. You know why? Because they love, they will save them. And that is what we as the younger generation must do. We must be able to put love in prayer. We don't put love in prayer. We put fast and lie and pray a little bit and we go on. But put love in our hearts for God. And this is what will take us to our lives successfully. Veda Pranaso is the life-giving breath of the Vedas, the creating aspect of God, the sustaining principle of God, and the reabsorbing power of God. He continues to tell us. When we know of the power of that name, then we will chant it with utmost love and devotion.